Namaskar. Welcome to Government e-Marketplace. This presentation covers the information for the utility, which enables the buyers to select a seller in case of RA deadlock, in case when no seller participates in an RA. If there are no participations after opening the RA, buyer has an option to either proceed with the bid results or cancel the bid RA. In forced RA scenarios, with no participation in RA, the buyer is left with multiple L1s. To overcome such a deadlock, buyer can take any one of the following actions. Start another round of RA among all technically qualified bidders, giving another opportunity to all to reduce the price. Since this is a case of cartelization, hence bid may be cancelled or scrapped and fresh bidding may be done. Placement of contract order to any one of the L1 bidders based on any criteria as deemed fit by the buyer with appropriate internal approvals. This option will be available only after failure of step 1. If there are no participations after opening the RA, the buyer has an option to either proceed with the bid results or else cancel the bid RA. In order to cancel the bid, buyer can click on the Cancel the Entire Bid Process button. On the other hand, if the buyer decides to extend the RA, they can do it by clicking on the Extend RA button. Clicking on the button starts another round of RA among all technically qualified bidders, giving them another chance to reduce the price even further. After clicking on the Extend RA button, buyer will have to select a new RA and date and time from the calendar. Once the date and time are selected, buyer will have to mention the reason for extending in the field provided and then click on the OK button. Even after entering a forced RA, if no seller participates, then the buyer is left with multiple L1s. In such an instance, the buyer may choose to offer the contract order to any one of the L1s based on any criteria who is deemed fit by the buyer with appropriate approvals. For doing so, buyer may click on the Select button shown beneath that seller. On clicking the Select button, the buyer needs to enter the comments for selecting that seller and then click on the Add button. Once a seller is selected, buyer can see the button Undo Select beneath the name of that seller. The buyer may choose to undo the selection, if required, by clicking on that button. If the buyer decides to proceed further with the selected seller, they can click on the Submit and Proceed button shown at the bottom right-hand side of the page. After clicking on the Submit and Proceed button, the buyer selected L1 is shown. Once the necessary offer validity extension and L1 negotiation steps are completed, the buyer can click on the Create Order button at the bottom right-hand side of the page and proceed to place the order to the seller.